POTUS is cured from COVID. He only grows stronger. A new D-Class, some incredible interviews, and I finally got to try on my Frank Halloween costume.
Hey, we're gonna take some calls. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll be right back. Hey.
All these things and more on a double-stuffed edition of the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. Some fun in store for you on this special double-stuffed edition of the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. We're going to cover 2 weeks in Quite Frankly. We'll share some love to the chat and take a look at some of the best calls of the week as well. Who knows what'll happen along the way? My name is Cody. Let's get right into it, shall we? Monday was a hot one. Oh, on Monday's episode, Getting Closer, COVID caught a case of the Donald. POTUS kicks COVID's ass. Frank, you got any of those sweet presidential tweets?
Here's the tweet today, just a couple hours before he was let out of the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be leaving the Great Walter Reed Medical Center today at 6:30 p.m. Feeling really good. Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life. I feel better than I did 20 years ago. I just started clapping when I saw the tweet.
And I've always said, Matt, that I would run if I thought I could win.
Not only the nomination, but the presidency.
The whole thing.
20 years ago, not to be outdone. That made me so happy to see that today. And, you know, the support was great. All this solid, peaceful, consistent energy that burns just brightly, solidly, and warmly. You see, the people that we're up against they are nothing but poison. And all they think about every day is about the bitterness of life. The bitterness of life that they've been taught is all around them, that they are obsessed with finding, with uprooting, to the point where they're hallucinating it everywhere. They're ruining themselves personally and politically.
Oh, we're ruining ourselves personally? Politically? Well, I'm gonna ruin you and your silly show. I just came from a Joe Biden rally, and there were a dozen of us, and we're all gonna boycott, Quite Frankly. You'll never recover. Ow! Tuesday's episode was incredible, and it's not on YouTube, so you're gonna have to find another platform to go rewatch that one. It featured an incredible interview with Plandemic series director and professional dreamboat Mickey Willis.
I started watching the game, and I compared it to a magician, where a magician will say, watch this hand, as this hand is doing the trick, right? And I started to watch the other hand, and every time I'd catch it, I'd go, oh, wow, this is all a big trick. We're being tricked. We're being tugged by our heartstrings. Morality has been weaponized. We're being pulled into these fights so that all the people that are brave enough, strong enough, angry enough, and compassionate enough to do something are all being corralled into a fight they'll never win just to keep them busy while the real damage is being done over here. And I said, I'm done with this game. I'm not going to play anymore. From this point on, it's not about a side. It's not about an ideology. It's about truth and truth only.
For more information on Mickey Willis and his work, visit plandemicseries.com. Wednesday's episode, Declassify My Heart, got me thinking, is this just more proof that everything was a setup?
It's just more proof that everything was a setup. For everybody out there who is still marooned on the Democrat desert island, if you are marooned out there and you are still in on this, please take a moment to read through everything that is out right now, and don't allow Chris Cuomo to tell you what you're reading. Just be honest with yourself. This is an open invite. You have an opportunity right now. You are at the threshold of yet another gigantic doorway. You have an opportunity right now to redirect all of your anger toward those who deserve it. You have bought this hook, line, and sinker. You swallowed the whole damn thing for 3.5 years. You have got to try to find a way to get off of this train. You cannot rationalize treason for longer than you already have. You can't do it anymore. Please try to save yourself.
I can finally get off this Russian investigation island. Look what I found. Recently declassified materials. I'm saved. Frank got into some deep-ass questions on Thursday's episode, Mystics, Prophets, and Transhumanists.
Is there anybody that goes to sleep more comfortably in the United States than a Democrat politician? You wake up in the morning and you are assured there's not going to be any fake scandals waiting for you. You never have to be held accountable for your own career. I mean, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they have the worst civil rights record a duo could ever have. Yet, because of the media, they are actually allowed to call people like Trump racist every day. That's called privilege, if you ask me.
Oh, it is a privilege to call the president a racist. Soy Boys United! I did it again! On Friday's episode, A Fly in the Ointment, Frank talked to wonderful guest Jay Dyer.
It is surprising when you get deeper into the stuff and you find out that, people on the dark side, they take a lot of it pretty seriously. Maybe not everybody. I'm sure there's a lot of atheists at the top of the tech elite, but quite a few of the banking elite and these old line families, they take the occult very seriously. The leaders of that group, they practice Yoruba, which is sort of an indigenous kind of version of voodoo, basically, where they try to contact and have a spirit sort of step into them. That's the whole goal. The whole goal is to get possessed. So the idea that, you want to open up your psyche to let other entities step in, you may think that's crazy, but you've heard it again. The last month, you've heard the highest levels of these revolutionary groups are really into the occult, and it was no different 100 years ago in Bolshevism. They will be into things like cannibalism, human sacrifice, all that kind of stuff is making a, quote, comeback. It's being promoted in the mainstream because the elites are into that stuff.
For more information on Jay Dyer, visit his website, jaysanalysis.com. And that was just 1 week. Can you believe it? Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going into week number 2 that started on October 12th. We'll be right back.
Hello. Today we're going to wrap it up with lots of pizzazz.
I take a lot of pride when I put the gift inside of the rap. Here we go, yo, yeah, the rap. Come on, say it again, all the rap. Aw, yeah, the rap. Oh, come on, everybody, say it one last time. I say the rap.
That's a wrap.
Oh, welcome back to the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show special double stuffed edition. We're coming on Monday, October 12th. And the episode, Who Will Watch Those Who Watch the Watchers? Well, speaking of watching, here's Frank on that Joe Biden rally.
Here is Biden and Harris. They held a campaign event in Arizona over the weekend, and the news station that was covering it was shocked that nobody had shown up.
There's really not much to see. I'll step out of the way, but it's kind of boring out here. So it's not your typical presidential campaign event. We don't see people around.
Typical meaning usually people show up. This had to be kept close to the chest because they didn't want to overwhelm the local area with armies of supporters. This place is as empty as a hospital ship during the COVID lockdown. It's as empty as the Javits Center during the COVID massacre of 2020. You know where everybody is? They're probably all on the phone talking to pollsters. Because, every day, Joe Biden's poll numbers, they go through the roof. So that's probably why people aren't showing up to his rallies. They're all talking to pollsters.
Oh, what are you wearing? Oh, I like the sound of that. Oh, I gotta go. It was a pollster. Tuesday's episode, Trophy Kills, and Amy's turn. Frank took a look at the Supreme Court confirmation hearings with the greatest orator of our times.
And now here, let's go to Cory Booker, who is the fifth Ninja Turtle, their retarded younger brother.
Why don't you go home, fella, before you hurt yourself? I was only trying to help.
You've already spoken towards issues of racism and how you deplore it. But I want to just ask you very simply, and I imagine you'll give me a very short, resolute answer. But you condemn white supremacy, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that you said that. I wish our president...
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy that I'm so happy. I'm quivering with delight. You hear how he's quivering with delight? So happy because he lives in such fear that the man who has ascended to the highest office of our country, he He won't say it. He won't say the words. Thank you. Thank you. You fucking freak. You're a freak, Corey. I wish these people watched this show. You're a fucking freak.
Would say that so resolutely and unequivocally as well. But we are at a time that Americans are literally fearful because their president cannot do that in the resolute manner in which you did. I'm sorry that question had to even be asked at this time.
Oh, I mean, you are just the pauses. He is the master of the pause, isn't he? Oh, Cory Booker really knows how to just get your heart.
Oh, it's not Cory Booker. I just ate a lot of chili and I have heartburn. On Wednesday's episode, The Reporter Who Knew Too Much, Frank was joined by author Mark Shaw.
Well, many people have said to me, we wish we had a reporter with integrity like Dorothy Kilgallen today. Unfortunately, the media today has an agenda. That didn't used to happen. Now, I'm going to show my age, but you used to have, Walter Cronkite and David Brinkley and those newscasters every night who just gave you the news. And there wasn't all this political part that got into that. But anytime, Frank, you have the government investigating government, that's an uphill climb. I've seen that with regard to this particular Kilgallen case, but with other books that I've written too. It's very difficult because the government never wants to admit that another government agency could have done something wrong, that there could have been corruption or whatever. Look at the fact that our government right now won't give us the rest of the JFK assassination documents. This is 50, 60 years later. What in the world can be in there that could cause a problem? And yet those are hidden from us. And public officials, that's kind of become their favorite weapon, is to just stonewall things and not give us the fact. Look at the Epstein case.
Oh, yes.
It went right away. I mean, it just was closed, and we'll probably never know what exactly happened there. Again, I applaud you for having a show that brings to light these kinds of problems that we have, with the hope that at some particular point there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll be able to get more answers to questions that have been lingering for years.
To check out any other of Mark Shaw's incredible books, visit markshawbooks.com. Frank breaks it all down on Thursday's episode, A Modern Day Inquisition.
I think that they commandeered our privilege. I think whether it be the Soviet Union that started spreading its way across Asia, and then of course China just held on to it all. And you think about what they have done, either from the Russian aspect of it back in the 20th century, or now China and what they're doing. They took American privilege, which was we had a free enough society where we were able to create plenty of individual independence, upward mobility, wealth. There's so much opportunity for people, and we led the world in innovating and science and everything else, and social justice. And then here comes these foreign interests that realize, okay, well, there's no way that we're going to win in a shooting match with the United States. But hey, let's get our way into those very, very well abused vices in culture. And now you see how we're really having our conversations. China is pretty much the NBA. Is that an entity there that really has any kind of American interest in mind, or is a major piece of American culture, or at least used to be a major piece of American culture, being held on to like a marionette by a foreign communist totalitarian regime?
Friday's episode, Crazy Media, Orbital Assault, and Invisible Submarines, featured researcher and author Elena Freeland.
So you have to be very spiritually discerning. Use your discernment and share your stories with people of like mind. You don't have to go out and start preaching to people about how they should believe what you believe, but find those people who are working on this and share notes, because we're all learning. This, again, is a democratic movement. We're learning from each other, because the experts are not coming. They are not going to save us. We have to really look at things ourselves. And those are the major things that I share. Am I depressed or something? No, we've had parasites for years, for eons. We have flora and fauna in our intestinal tract that help us digest our food and assimilate the nutrients. We are hosts already. But this may be the first time in human history that we actually have man-made machines in us that have a swarm intelligence and are in absolute obedience to remote masters. This may be the very first time.
Wow.
Find more of Elena's work at ElenaFreeland.com. This is also from the Friday episode, Frank's look at the Trump Town Hall.
Here is a little bit of the town hall that the president spent with Savannah Guthrie last night. It was really quite disturbing. This woman is out of her mind. She's all over QAnon, doing the crack reporting that is needed in this time of amazing social upheaval. Take a listen to this exchange over here.
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me.
I just told you. Please disavow QAnon once and for all. Let's put this to bed, Mr. President.
But what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
She's still going. She's an insufferable bitch. Nowhere to be seen in any of this were the fears that QAnon was going to lead to, say, I don't know, a group of lunatics declaring 6 city blocks in Seattle to be an autonomous nation state with a really shitty garden.
What an incredible week that was. And if there's one thing that kept us sane along the way, it's the Quite Frankly chat rooms. That's right, we're going to show some love to the chat on a segment we call
Chat Love. Thank you to everybody that's watching, and I thank you so much for being a part of the audience every night. Thank you to the people in all these amazing chat rooms on DLive, on Twitch, on Periscope, and on YouTube. The sexiest chat rooms on earth. The sexiest chat room on the internet. The most voluptuous, curvy, the hourglass shapes. Everybody, the men too. My mouth is watering over here. You guys are so sexy. Can't take it anymore. This chat room, apple bottoms, beautiful. Love them. The fragrance, the sweet fragrance of this chat room, of all those sweet oiled bodies, the beautiful fresh smelling, bouncing buttresses. It smells like lilac coming from the chat room right now. I love lilac. I really do. It's a great smell. It's a great flower. It's a great tree. A bush. What is it, a bush? Like little yentas right now. They're all just gathering back and forth. I love it. I want to do a chat room-wide motorboat. Gonna motorboat every last one of you. Especially Mark Swan.
Ooh, I'm getting all hot and bothered. Well, now it's time where we go back to the last Quite Frankly wrap-up show and take a look at some of the wonderful comments that you left. It's a segment we call Comments of the Week. TL Spud says, I feel wrapped up. Can't speak for anybody else. Haha, you know that's the same thing the mummy said. Oh, Mike Church says, ha 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 ha, great show, Cody. And yep, superb editing. Duncan T63 says, thanks for the light and humorously uplifting format. We really do need this type of comic relief in the middle of all the gloomy news and the fake news you get when you waste your time tuning into the mainstream media because you feel like wasting a half an hour of your life. Well, hopefully this is not a waste, and we thank you for your comment. Previous comment of the week winner, Darling USA, says, we need good comedy in our lives, some of us more than others, and you, Cody and Abe, are experts in that department. Only problem is the weekly wrap-up show is too short. Thank you both. Well, hopefully this one's long enough for you. And Juniper Chan Madeline Connor says, fantastic. And Ayla Blanchard Cecilia Small says, I'm single. You know, I'm starting to think that Juniper Chan Madeline Connor and Ayla Blanchard Cecilia Small aren't real people. But thank you for the comments nonetheless. And Independent Patriot says, this is the greatest comment of all time, quite frankly. Well, Independent Patriot, in support of your patriotism and your independence, you are this week's winner of the Comment of the Week! Congratulations! And now it's that time where we look at some of the best calls of the last 2 weeks on a segment we call Calls of the Week!
Let's take some calls. Calls like that. Taking all of your calls. Calls like this just make me feel amazing.
Hit it!
Hello, who's this?
This is Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I tell you what, earlier when you were talking about the professional. It was very odd.
Yeah, there's a.
And I was probably in my early 20s, and I kind of blew it off.
Why are you so mean to me?
When I had watched it the first time, I was young, and she's young in that movie, so I was younger than her, I should say. But all I did understand was this kid got a chance to train with a professional assassin, and that was pretty cool.
Take a deep breath. Hold it.
I was imagining myself taking out drug-addled bad guys, and I didnn't care about the weird pedo vibe. Yeah, for sure.
Except he's not really my father. He's my lover.
Albert, what's going on?
Well, you're still here.
We're still here, Albert.
You sound disappointed, Al.
Disappointed!
Yeah, why do you sound so mad?
No, it's just like, are we just rearranging deck chairs? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're taking everyone out. And today when I heard all this was going down, I was just like looking, and I seriously started looking at quite frankly .tv. It doesn't matter. You wanted to do a Q thing, let's do a Q thing. Where we go one, we go all.
My name is Rick from Cape Cod, long-time listener, first-time caller. I'd like to say last night's show was the best one I've seen, Frank, and I've been watching for a while, brother.
Rick, it's awesome to hear from you. I agree with you. I have to go back and watch it again myself too. He's a wonderful guy to talk to, and I really hope that a lot of people got something from that. It felt like a healing experience having that conversation. Was very healing and cathartic.
Yeah, it is. It was great, man. And I actually watched it twice myself, and I passed it off to a couple of people at work, and we'll continue to do so. Anyway, I know you got to get some more calls in. I just wanted to say you got my support, Frankie, and we love you, man.
I went into one of my local grocery stores yesterday, okay? And I had on a navy blue with gold lettering, Keep America Great, 45 on one side, gold American flag on the other side, and Trump 2020 in the back. And my nice navy blue face mask that said Trump in big letters. Now, I simply wear it because I like it. It's me. It's who I support. I don't intentionally go out of my way to get aggressive with people. I'm ringing up my stuff, and you can feel somebody just like looking at you, staring at you.
Mm-hmm.
So I turn and I look over my shoulder, and there's a guy. Now, I know what ethnicity he was, but I'm not going to say it. But I will say this much. I can guarantee you this gentleman would identify himself as a person of color. Okay?
Okay.
I can guarantee you he would identify himself as that. And he also looked like a guy that's never done a hard day's work in his life. He looked like one of them cubicle dudes. So I'm looking at him, and he's chirping. He's chirping, and I know he's chirping at me, but I can't really hear what he's saying. And I'm like, just let it go. It ain't worth it, right? So then, now, I have hit tough times, as you know personally, Frankie. I lost my job. I fell on hard times, and I am currently on food stamps, okay? So I break out my food stamp card to pay for my food. This guy laughs out loud, a big hearty laugh, and he goes, "Oh, Andy's on food stamps."
Motherfucker. Motherfucker.
So I turned and I started taking steps towards him. I said, "You got something to fucking say?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I don't like that." And I says, "Let me tell you something, pal. I really don't give a fuck what you like. I'm not bothering you. Don't bother me." He backed up a little bit and he goes, "Oh, okay." Right? So I get done and I start walking out of the store, and I stand right next to him, and I go face to face with him, and I says, "You have a nice day." And he goes, "Oh, wow, man, thanks, you too." And I said, "And go fuck yourself while you're at it." And I walked out.
Good man.
And then I waited out in the parking lot to see if this was a tough guy that would want to confront me. All right? And I'm like, let's see what happens here. I'll wait in the parking lot. Let's see if he's a man, right? Well, I waited. Both entrances. Never saw the guy come out. He dived and so socialized to avoid the cage.
I hope that you don't get too much more of that, because you don't deserve it, and neither does anybody else.
I don't care. Frankie, I'll take it as it comes. But people need to hear this. People need to hear this and how these lefties are treating people. And the guy our president right now is a godsend. God sent him down to help us. I don't give a fuck.
Those were some great calls. Oh my goodness. Well, now it's my favorite part of the show where I get to take your calls. That's right. Go ahead and call in now. The phone lines are open. We can talk about anything from the last 2 weeks. It's been a crazy month so far. So let's go to Antoine in California. Antoine, you're on the air.
Remember the fly on my pants?
Oh my gosh, I forgot all about that. Hey, Antoine, what do you call a dead fly?
What?
A flu. Hey, wait, Antoine, how do you starve a fly?
I don't know how.
You hide his shit under his work boots. All right, well, thanks for the call. That was great. Oh, all right, well, let's go to our next caller. Caller, you're on the air. Oh, it's the fly that was on Mike Pence's head. Well, listen, they were just jokes. Black flies matter. No, I didn't think about that. Well, listen, no, that's not necessary. You don't have to come down here. Hey, if you guys all come down here, what am I gonna need? A SWAT team? What was that? No. Oh no, there's too many of them. The phone lines are closed. We're not taking any more calls. Ah! Well, that's about all the time we have here on this week's Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. Be sure to head on over to... Who are you? YouTube? Censors? What do you mean it's my turn? It's just a wrap-up show. It's not even a real show. Well, can I finish the outro at least? Well, be sure to head on over to quitefrankly.tv. That's your one-stop shop for all things Quite Frankly. Thank you. All right, let's get this over with. QuiteFrankly.tv is the place to be to catch the latest episode, the latest blog entries, links to support the show, click forum to check out the Reddit page, and visit the merch store and buy yourself a t-shirt. Quite Frankly streams live weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern wherever you get your podcasts. So until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye!
Trump can be and must be expunged. The hate he has triggered, the Pandora's...
Expunged. Let's go again.
He will be expunged.
Trump can be and must be expunged.
We can't even get past 4 seconds. You freak!